May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on InterTalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am that guy, Scott Robertson, your host with all the answers, as long as I have the questions in advance. And with me on the air today is the host of the Changing Stage and Gear Talk Radio here on InterTalk, Mr. Florentino Buenaventura. How's it going, man?
Yo. I'm doing great, brother. Just ready for another amazing teaching and infotainment session with you here today, bro.
Awesome. Infotainment. Well, very good. Well, let's kick things off. You know, if you have a question for me, I'm going to give you my email address. Send me an email and just let me know that you listened to the show and that you have a question, and I'll be sure to address it on a future episode. You can email me at scott@robertsoncom.com. And that is 2 M's in the first com and then .com with 1 M. And I'll answer anything right on the show and, give you a shout out for sending me a question. At some point, maybe we'll send you a T-shirt or something too. I don't know. We'll think about it. But today's show, we are talking about listening and research, like the sound of everybody shutting off their computer at once. No, wait. All too often, brands are ready to talk first and sort of ask questions later. So in this episode, we're going to explore the very powerful element of research and how it can really transform your marketing. We're going to take a look at, like we do in every show, we're going to take a look at who's winning and losing out there this week in the big world of Marcom. And finally, we're going to give you some tips about research and listening to the market before your company speaks that hopefully will be very helpful to you. So just to kind of kick things off, I want to talk about what marketing research really is. It's defined usually as a systematic gathering, recording, and analysis of qualitative and quantitative data about issues relating to marketing products and services. So that's really boring, and it sounds really boring, but research doesn't have to be by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely the case that, you have qualitative and quantitative data, and really the difference between qualitative and quantitative, just in shorthand, is the fact that quantitative measures numbers of things, quantities of things, like, 60% of people are in favor of, this proposition, or that, or 50% of people don't take care of or don't have adequate plans for retirement, let's say. And qualitative data is much more personal. It's much more anecdotal, and it's much more story-based. So hopefully that helps. And both are used in different capacities in terms of gathering information. But one of the most important things you can do as a communicator is to listen. But we forget that. We forget how to listen. We forget, especially organizationally. Like, all of us know how to listen. You go to a lunch, you start talking, and then, naturally, at some point, you're going to run out of oxygen. And so you're going to need to take a breath. And that's a good part of time while you're kind of gathering your voice back to open your ears and listen to the other person. It also makes for a much more lively conversation because both people are engaged at the same level, and it's it's like a game of tennis, right? Interpersonally, I think we're pretty good at that. Organizationally, we're not so good. We're not so good at all. And companies are like as excited as like a puppy is when you hold up a piece of bacon to communicate. They're like bouncing around, and they're super, super excited to get the word out. Oh my God, we've got the greatest new whiz-bang thing that's ever been seen in the world, and we're just so excited to talk about it. And they start talking about it, and they start talking about it, and then they never stop talking about it. And that's a problem, communications-wise, right? Because you need that feedback, you need that listening, you need that piece in there. I always say that marketing is part art and part science. Most marketing companies and marketing professionals want to be known for the art, want to be known for their creative, want to be known for their fantastic words, their fantastic pictures, their fantastic ability to be able to, rise above and kind of create attention for their clients and the companies they work for. And that's fantastic. But I will submit to you today that the science part is equally important. It answers the why of why we do anything in marketing. And it answers the real why, because the real why is, what are you really trying to do? Well, where are our opportunities? With this, what problem are you trying to solve through communications? Communications can solve a great deal of problems. It can cause an equal number of problems too, but it can solve a good number of them if you identify the problem that you're trying to solve first. And ladies and gentlemen, that's research. That's why, if you're going to be great in marketing, you have to, you can't just be creative. You also have to have people on your team, or you yourself, or what have you. Somebody on the bench has got to be able to, play defense. You can't just be great shooters, everybody. So that's really, really important. Research done right can just energize the campaign, the campaign huge. It absolutely can. So, like when I was working at NAMM, we discovered through our Gallup research that of the people who did not play a musical instrument, 95% of them wanted to. And then another study came out in the UK, and it was that one of the greatest regrets in life that people had was the fact that they didn't learn how to play a musical instrument. Well, this is powerful stuff, and we used it to create a message in our Wanna Play public awareness campaign that NAMM launched, that I was a part of, that really went to work on this idea of regret. We identified a huge opportunity that we felt in the market that the music products industry could dive into, the fact that everybody wants to pretty much play a musical instrument. And we used that to create a campaign around it. And had we not had the Gallup poll research, had we not had that stuff, we would not have been able to create the same kind of campaign. So just a quick example from my own experience, I'm a huge fan of research. I think when you're doing your planning for any type of campaign, you absolutely need to know, where are people's perceptions right now? Where do we want to move them to? How is communications going to play a role in doing this? So, let's talk a little bit about how most companies do research. And the answer is super easy. They don't. They don't do research. And it shows. And you can tell that you have a message that is based on assumptions. You have a message that is based on just trying to get a message out there quickly, especially startups. Startups are very guilty of, well, let's just get our message out there and see if it sticks. But the research part really should not be ignored. And why don't companies do it? It is expensive. It can be expensive. It's a good way to say it. I just saw a story that said that personal interviews are almost expensive as focus groups used to be, basically $325 per person, according to one organization. And the cost of completing 200 phone surveys can vary between $5,000 and $15,000, according to a company called Hosted Survey, which is another marketing research company. But as we're going to talk about in this entire episode, marketing research doesn't have to be wildly expensive. There are ways that you can do it. Certainly, the advent of social media has really, created a new channel of information that companies can activate and use. Yet, when I talk to companies, especially companies that do social media professionally, you'd be amazed at how the word listen never comes up. They talk about, oh, well, we're liked this much, and we're engaged. We have this much engagement, and we have this many posts, and we have this many blah, blah, blah. And then you say, what are people saying about us? You know, what are people saying about us? Well, we don't know, but we do know that, you know, this many people liked our post. Fantastic. However, that is an open channel that you have to the audience that's chosen to follow you. So it can be extraordinarily useful for you to, use in a listening capacity, in a marketing research capacity. And I think that some of the bigger brands in the world do that. There are plenty that don't. You know, sometimes we don't have time to do marketing research. I had a client that called me this week and said, "Okay, we got to get something out right now. We get something out," and then you try to backtrack and create a plan that's based on a strategy with, you know, actual goals and created a marketing research. But, you know, sometimes they involve marketing so late in the process that there's no ability to do that, you know, and that's really bad. That's why planning is just, you can't say enough about it in terms of what you're trying to do marketing-wise. So that's a bit about marketing research. When we come back, we're going to talk about goals. We're going to talk about our methodology, how we collect data, all kinds of fun stuff. So drink some coffee and stay awake. I promise it's going to be rocking later on. You're tuned to the May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Radio. We'll see you in a few. Thanks.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull
All right, cool.
Audio
I'll put
have
that pop
the
filter
gear
on.
into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jason Scheff, lead vocalist and bass player for the band Chicago, reporting here from New York City as we get ready to go and be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey, listen, I want to tell you about something really cool. I'm basically, get it, I'm giving my bass away that I'm playing on this 2016 Chicago Earth, Wind and Fire tour, and on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. It'll be aired on HBO later this month. So if you want a chance to win it, go to winmybass.com, winmybass.com, winmybass.com. This is going through the rest of this month, April, and we will announce a winner early May, okay? Thank you so much to Jackie's Groove, powered by Intertalk Radio. I am so proud to be a San Diegan and part of this world that keeps growing down there. Talk to you soon. Bye.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey everybody, welcome back to segment 2. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm still Scott, and I'm here with the man with the plan, Florentino Buenaventura. You still out there, man?
Oh, yeah, brother. It's kind of funny. We're having a little dialogue ourselves talking about metrics, and you're talking about research and pulling all that stuff in. We should actually be listening to your show as well as talking, which we are. I am doing that. So it's pretty cool stuff that you're talking about, because it is important about tying all that stuff in with what you are doing. You got to know how to measure your success.
It's true. And we could do an entire episode just on measurement. Research certainly kind of gets you kicked off, but measurement lets you know that you're continually going in the right direction. And I think, maybe we will do a whole show on measurement. I think it's a good idea. Well, cool. Well, here in segment 2, in first segment, we talked a little bit about, what is market research? Why should we care? We talked about most companies really don't do much of it and need to do more of it. Just like most people, don't listen and need to listen more before they talk. It's very true in marketing. Now in segment 2, we're going to talk about our methodology a bit. So in science, just taking you back to science class a bit, scientists always sort of want to know what they want to know. They have a suspicion that something is true, and they want to prove it. And they use research to prove it, right? Or they use research to learn in different areas. Same thing in communications research, by the way. Sometimes you want to think like a laboratory scientist does, we believe that these cells will attack these cells and will ultimately, create this condition in the body. And now we're going to try to prove it. And the proving it is actually your marketing campaign. That's the stimulus. So if you're talking about changing human behavior, which is what we're always talking about, that is what we do here, then your laboratory is really when you execute your program. But it's very important, as we're talking about in this show today, to make sure that you know what your goals are. What are your goals with your research? I mean, are you trying to learn something so that you can possibly develop a new product that serves that market? Are you trying to listen to the market to just get some ongoing feedback that might guide some product development in a different way? Or listen about a position the company's taken and see how we're doing. Like Target with its transgender-friendly bathroom policy, taking a lot of fire. There's a petition online, over 1 million people saying that they won't shop in the store anymore based on this. So they're listening. Target is, they certainly believe in what they're doing, but from a marketing perspective, they're watching the news very, very closely. They're watching every aspect of this to see, the question that every marketing organization has, which is, are we serving the audience? Are we serving the audience in the way that we thought that we were going to? And it's particularly hard in controversial subjects like that. I personally think that the porta potty industry has missed a golden opportunity here with our confusion about which bathrooms we can use as a sophisticated society. I think the porta potty industry could step in and say, look, hey, we have this solution that works for everybody. One person, one bathroom, and I came up with a little tagline that I put on Facebook, and it was, it's just you and your business in here. And I thought, and by the way, if you're with Porta Potty and you're listening and you steal my slogan, I'm going to sue you. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that, listening to the market, as in Target's case, and that was a huge digression, I apologize. But listening to the market is critically important as one of the potential goals of our research. And another one of our goals of our research could be that we're trying to prove something that we suspect something might be true, but we need to prove it. And we definitely need to prove it if we're going to put those statistics up in front of the press. If you're going to bring data to the press from a research study, you better make sure that it's good. It's well done. It has, some scientific basis behind it, because you're asking the press to put their banner behind your research, and, that for credibility's sake, they want to make sure that they are out there telling the truth too. So, goals. We talked about research goals. It's very, very important to know that. Next thing you want to figure out is who's going to be on this research team with us. Obviously, marketing's in there, because they're kind of the driving force usually to say we need to know stuff. But sometimes product development, could be in there. Are there vendors? Are we hiring an outside company to conduct some research? If you hire an outside company, by the way, like I said, NAM used to use Gallup for every 3 years for a survey. The reason that NAM uses Gallup is so that we can push the info to the press, and the press is very comfortable with Gallup figures because of their long-standing reputation for quality. And is it expensive? Yes. Very expensive, actually. But at the end of the day, you have to have something that you can, that people will believe. In that case, when you're not just doing internal research, but you're doing research that you plan to share the findings with the world, you need to make sure that your methodology is bulletproof on stuff like that. And like I said, especially if you're going to take it to the press, from a PR side of things. The next thing you want to do, you want to design your research method, and this could be a lot of things, but basically we know what we want to know. We kind of know what we want to prove, that kind of thing. We sort of know who's going to be on the team. We know that marketing's going to be there. Maybe we have an outside vendor that's helping us collect data and help us design the method a bit, but that's what you want to do next. You design your method for how you're going to collect the data. Is this a phone survey? Is it online? Is it? Are we just going to listen to social media for 15 to 30 days and report back? Are we going to talk to people ourselves in the room? There's so many different ways that you can collect data. And while we're on that subject, if you're going to ask, as you know from listening to the show, I'm not a huge fan of bothering people with a lot of communications, and surveys really fall into that. On one hand, you really want your customers to talk to you. On the other hand, you need to come to the dramatic realization that your marketing message and what you need to know is not the most important thing in their lives. Very important to know that. And sometimes people will send me a survey once, twice, 3 times a lady, many, many, many times. Stop it. Send it to them once, sometimes there's an incentive on a survey. It depends. You have to have a comfort level with how you're communicating with your audience. You're asking for some of their time. If you feel like the amount of time you're asking for is, needs to be reimbursed in some way, and that's not going to affect the statistics of the data that you collect, then by all means, you can up it. Like I said, at NAM, we used to do a member survey, and we would offer incentives for members to fill it out because it was kind of long, and it took some time. So we would offer them various, financial incentives, with the association to do that. You don't always have to. Sometimes it can be nice. Sometimes, enter to win a drawing, but then researchers will come back and tell you, just got to make sure you're getting the truth when people are talking to you. You don't want people filling out your survey so they can get entered in to win a drawing and they're just clicking all the 5s. You know what I mean? Your point here is to get some data, and hopefully not just all like negative data, from people that were upset about something that the company did. Then you want to collect the data in whatever methodology that you have. And then and data collection, obviously there can be some resource costs, on that, even if it's a survey, So when you're planning all this stuff out, make sure you are thinking about that budget piece as well. Then you want to analyze your data. And again, we're scientists here. This isn't going to make a lot of the creatives in the room like thrilled to death. But again, remember why you're doing it. I really don't like spreadsheets and data analysis, and that's not what I do. But if it gets me what I need to move the needle on behavior in marketing, then that's what you got to do. You got to analyze that data. You got to find when you're looking at the data, you got to see, is our hypothesis correct? What we're trying to prove is true. Is it really true? And you got to be flexible enough to say maybe what you were trying to prove isn't true. And then something too. And you haven't invested a lot of, time and effort, in creating a big marketing campaign when the hypothesis was false to begin with. I've been associated with things like that before. And then, of course, you want to report those findings. What did you learn? And what can you use? The wonderful world of marketing research. Well, you're tuned to May the Best Brand Win here on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader on Music Biz Talk. Come back in segment 3. We're going to talk about who's winning and who's losing this week. See you in a few.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jason Scheff, lead vocalist and bass player for the band Chicago, reporting here from New York City as we get ready to go and be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey, listen, I want to tell you about something really cool. I'm basically, get it? I'm giving my bass away that I am playing on this 2016 Chicago Earth, Wind & Fire tour, and on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies that'll be aired on HBO later this month. So if you want a chance to win it, go to winmybass.com, winmybass.com, WINMYBASS.com. This is going through the rest of this month, April, and we will announce a winner early May, okay? Thank you so much to Jackie's Groove, powered by Intertalk Radio. I am so proud to be a San Diegan and part of this world that keeps growing down there. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hello, you are tuned to May the Best Brand Win here on InterTalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm Scott Robertson, and as long as you'll have me, I'm here with the host of the Changing Stage and Gear Talk Radio, Florentino Buenaventura. How are you, my friend?
Hey. Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to the science of marketing and all the things that you do to get that proven concept.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the episode's about today. We're talking about listening and research and all the fun. See, I said fun. The fun that goes along with listening and research. But we're going to take a little break like we always do in segment 3 and talk about who's winning and losing out there. So many. It's like, how do you could fill this segment 4 times over probably with the stuff that is going on out there. But let's get into it. So it was my birthday on Monday. And yes, thank you very much. And I got a lot of emails from companies that really wanted to take time out of their busy day to wish me a happy birthday, which was nice and also wildly creepy. And here is one of those from, so it says, this is from my online pharmacy. Happy birthday, Scott, and best wishes. Your health and well-being are important to us, so we want to take the opportunity to wish you the best for your special day. We invite you to visit us at OptumRx.com for the time and the tools to make it easier to manage your medication and your health. Enjoy the year to come. From all of us at OptumRx. Right. So I got happy birthday messages from them, from my airline, from my credit card. They wish me to spend more money, I guess. From Roto-Rooter, that was a special one. They were concerned that maybe my pipes needed cleaning, and why not use my birthday as what they would consider to be the optimal time to reach out to me and and say happy birthday to me, just because they care. And I got a really cool one from Benihana. That was a great one because that one had a $30 meal certificate in there, and they said, "Come enjoy your birthday on us, and here's $30," which is really good. Gotta say, you say there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's definitely a free dinner out there for me. That's what I'm saying. So here's the thing: good intentions, very good intentions. They wanted to wish me a happy birthday. Here's where you got to think before you send stuff. Yeah, and you got to think from the audience's point of view. Do we have the kind of relationship that you should be wishing me a happy birthday? How close is our relationship? If you come and clean my pipes once, should you be wishing me a happy birthday? And seriously think it through. If you're the online pharmacy, do we have the level of relationship where you should be wishing me a happy birthday? Or my credit card company or the airline or whatever else. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So think it through. When somebody raised their hand and said, I think it'd be a really smart thing if we send everybody birthday messages, be the person that goes, yeah, and it might be wildly creepy too. We might not have that relationship with this customer. Do we want that relationship? Can I call up Roto-Rooter and share everything that's going on with my family? It's like, think about it. What relationship do you want? You're already cleaning my pipes. Back off. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's what I'm saying. So that's a loser out there, I would say. All that marketing on your birthday stuff, just think it through. Some of them work. The Benihana one was awesome. Love it. Awesome. Way to go, Benihana. Let's talk about somebody that's winning out there this week, Audi. Audi has some great TV ads and social posts. They're associated with the blockbuster movie coming up, Captain America: Civil War. And they have these great little pieces. Their cars are used in a chase scene. But the way they market it is they say this is some never before seen footage from the movie. And then it features the car like melded into this chase. It's really nicely done. It's really well done. The car is not a distraction. For all we know, the car's in the movie. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. It's not out yet. So it's really well done. And I think that is what you want to look for. How do you make your marketing not an annoyance, but something that people want? I know, crazy, right? That's what I'm talking about. Next person I want to talk about is a professional cyclist has been banned for 6 years from the sport because it was discovered this week that she was racing with a hidden electric motor. She was caught at the UCI Cyclocross World Championships after an inspection in the pit area. It's a pretty sophisticated motor. It's a magnetic resonance motor that basically could be flipped on from under the handlebar tape. So here's why I want to mention this. Is she's busted, right? And then she makes all these public statements that says, "Oh, it was just a misunderstanding because it was my friend's bike and it was identical to mine, and the friend went around the course and yada yada yada." Stop it. Seriously stop it. It was you. You were trying, it was absolutely you. Don't do stuff like that. If you did it, admit it. That's a good rule right there. And it happens to almost rhyme. So, if you did it, admit it. From a PR perspective, you're going to be so much better. She's banned from the sport for 6 years for the thing, but don't with the denial. It's always going to make you look worse. It always did, even when you broke the lamp and your mom said, "Who broke this lamp?" "Oh, I think, my brother did or Ghost did." They didn't. It was you. Admit it. Much better. I want to talk about, did you watch the draft yesterday? I want to talk about Laremy Tunsil. In the losing category, Laremy was expected to go in the 3rd round in the NFL draft, which is a position that comes with many, many millions of dollars. 10 minutes before the draft, somebody hacks his Twitter account and posts a video of him smoking weed with a gas mask bong from his years in college. And Laremy Tunsil falls into the 13th round and gets picked up by the Miami Dolphins. So he says, "Okay, my Twitter was hacked. Somebody was trying to do harm to me," that kind of thing, and basically kind of plays it off. Today, Friday, his Instagram shows a text conversation between him and officials at Ole Miss accepting money for his services in college. Who? Big old no-no. Not only for him, if that conversation's real, they got a lot of problems coming. Down there. So social media is great. It can be hacked, and bad things can happen. And certainly, this player, his future in the NFL, this mistake, which is now on his Twitter feed, which was suspended yesterday for obvious reasons, is going to cost him estimates of between $15 and $20 million. So that's an expensive bong hit, is what I will say. So, also in the category of losing would be China has come out with its own brand to compete with Under Armour. And they call it Uncle Martian. It uses the same font, the exact same logo as Under Armour. And basically, China's newest sportswear brand, Uncle Martian, is what American press are calling, worldwide press are calling, a bold ripoff of the American brand Under Armour. Obviously, China always kind of plays fast and loose with copyright. The same different intellectual property rules apply over there, certainly. You see that in music products all the time. They have all kinds of interesting guitars like Gibson, spelled Gibsun, and Fendar, Fendar, with the script writing and everything. So you want to see presidents of music companies really lose it is you start talking about Chinese knockoffs of their instruments, and rightfully so. But man, this one's blatant. Those are blatant too, but you've got to see it for yourself. I really can't do it justice. Just Google Uncle Martian. Dumbest name ever? What the heck is Uncle Martian supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? I'd love to see somebody in the brand. Well, he's a Martian and he's your uncle, so what? What the heck is going on over there? That's just a weird one. That's just very, very weird. Last thing I want to say, just in the remaining seconds of this segment, is I think somebody that's winning out there from a PR and marketing perspective is Donald Trump. I saw a story that came out that said, he recently won the New York primary, and while other candidates are spending millions of dollars on radio and television advertising and everything, because of his absolute dominance of the news cycle, because of PR, he's got ridiculous amounts of media mentions. He spent zero. He spent absolutely nothing to win that market. And I don't care who you are, that is marketing ROI with a purpose right there. And man, I don't think we've ever seen a presidential candidate with such command over the media cycle as Donald Trump. We can talk about that in depth sometime. That's who's winning and losing this week. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win right here on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. Come on back in segment 4. I'm going to give you some more research tips and tricks. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jason Scheff, lead vocalist and bass player for the band Chicago, reporting here from New York City as we get ready to go and be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey listen, I want to tell you about something really cool. I'm basically, get it? I'm giving my bass away that I am playing on this 2016 Chicago Earth, Wind and Fire tour, and on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies that'll be aired on HBO later this month. So if you want a chance to win it, go to winmybass.com, winmybass.com, WINMYBASS.com. This is going through the rest of this month, April, and we will announce a winner early May, okay? Thank you so much to Jackie's Groove, powered by Intertalk Radio. I am so proud to be a San Diegan and part of this world that keeps growing down there. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hello, everybody. You are back, and you're tuned to May the Best Brand Win right here on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm Scott, and with me today still is the host of The Changing Stage and Gear Talk Radio, two fantastic programs here on Intertalk Radio, Mr. Florentino Buenaventura.
Hey.
How are we doing?
Good, man. We're doing great. Hey, one of the listeners, actually one of our folks here who's on location, he's listening to your show while he's running another show. That's how much he loves your show. And he's like, he loves your Stop It's. He's like, he's going to say, forget this homemade best brand win. This is the Stop It show. Stop that because that's not good. He loves that.
I know. Yeah, I'm going to be like the crusty old dudes, like, get off my lawn, kids. I've got a shotgun. Get off my lawn.
Just stop
That's going to be me.
Yeah. Hey, man, but all good information, sir. Continue on with your wealth of knowledge and experience in this business.
Right on. Well, cool. Well, we are talking about marketing research and, listening and research today. In the first segment, we really started talking about what it is, who cares, that sort of thing. In the second segment, we talked about sort of, how to do a good approach to do it. Third segment, as usual, we're talking about lots of winning and losing just going on. Not necessarily research related, but certainly some companies that could benefit from that. And here in the fourth segment, I always like to give you folks a few take-home tips and tricks that you can use. And tip number one in that bucket is, make a decision today that you're going to be that curious scientist. That you're not just going to be a talker, that you're not just going to be a brand out there that's, just keeps on turning up the volume, all that. That you're going to have some curiosity and you're going to try to, affect some change with your communications. That is what communications' main job is supposed to do, whether it's moving people whether it's just making people aware of something, whether it's trying to create a sense of preference over other brands, or whether it's trying to, just go for the throat and trying to go for the sale, get people to move all the way to taking action. That's what, communications is supposed to do, no matter how it kind of comes out tactically. So make a decision that you're going to be that curious person. A little bit of curiosity is a really good thing for a marketer, and look around at research can come from so many different places and take you in so many different ways. I think the Blender company that does all the Blend It videos, Blend Tech, and they do a series of YouTube videos called Will It Blend? You may have seen it when they tried to blend an iPhone and some things like that. Real interesting part of that story is the fact that the marketing director and the CEO were walking around down in the testing area where the guys in the lab coats are testing out the blenders, and they saw some sawdust on the floor. And they said they asked one of the guys. They said, "Why is all this sawdust on the floor? What's going on here?" And the guys said, well, kind of apologetically, when everybody goes home, we grind down broom handles in the blender just to see if we could, just to see if it could chop up the broom handle. And there's I got to say, I'm a guy. I want to see that. I want to see a broom handle get chopped up by a blender. I'm not sure why I want to see it. I want to see it. It sounds cool. So they said, well, we could show that our blenders can do some really cool stuff and do something really interesting with them. And we'll create this whole segment of videos about things that our blenders can chop up. And go on YouTube right now. Hit Will It Blend and see all the things they've chopped up in the blender. That wouldn't have happened. By the way, it created huge results for their company, huge social media presence. They sold a record amounts of blenders. I saw the CEO speak at a conference a few years ago. And it never would have happened if they wouldn't have noticed the sawdust. Notice the sawdust. That's research. That can be research too. Tip number 2. Budget for research throughout the year. Don't think it's just going to be free and it's going to happen by itself. You need to put some hours towards it. Think about what your hard costs are going to be. If it's something that's going to be of value down the road of the marketing efforts, then it needs to show up in the marketing budget in some way. I know plenty of people don't want to pay for research, but do you want a marketing campaign that doesn't work? Who wants to send me more birthday greetings from brands that don't have a relationship with me? It's not going to work. So, budget for this stuff. Tip number 3, try to touch anything that touches your audience. If you're in marketing, you should be talking to sales. You should be talking to customer service. You should have relationships and talk to the reps. You should talk to your vendors. You should you should be listening on social media to your customers. You should be curious about anything that's out there touching the audience, because that's your job. Your job is ultimately to get a message to this audience and try to affect some behavioral change. And you need to know everything. I always tell my clients, I'm like, you know what? I want to know everything. And they say, well, we don't want to bother you with this and this. You're not bothering me. You're definitely not bothering me. I am curious. I want to know everything that we can know. Because you also never know what nugget of information is going to be the piece that becomes that great piece of creative for your campaign, for your company. We just talked about the sawdust on the floor thing. Walk around, talk to people, touch things that touch your audience. If people don't want to give you the information, explain why it can benefit them. Well, I don't know if I want marketing, touching or talking to all of our customer service reps. You're like, what if it improves our marketing? Well, what if you giving me this information allows me to do something and grow our company by double next year? Are we all in favor of that? Is that why we're here or no? Are we in favor of, doing things that help the company? If somebody says no, you have a very different conversation on your hands at that point, because you're supposed to be all trying to grow the company. That's the plan. Number 4, use those social media channels to listen. Don't get so excited to talk that you forget that it's a two-way communication. Ask questions, and not like self-serving questions, but actual questions. What's everybody's feedback on this new product that we launched? Hey, we're excited, but we're excited. We want to hear from you. One of my clients, Beat Buddy, runs a very successful forum, a user forum on its own site. And the information is really interesting and useful. Apple, of course, runs tons of forums. They're a huge believer. Tech companies really believe in this sort of, we'll ask and put everything and open the kimono and sort of let everybody in on the answers and that kind of thing. But a lot of, manufacturing companies and other companies don't do that. Sometimes they'll say, oh, well, if somebody has a complaint against us, then what will we say? And that kind of thing. Don't worry about it. Listen. Listening is important. Put your ladder up against the right wall, tip number 5, and then scale it. Research helps you figure out the right wall. Great communications to me is about listening well. People will tell you how they want to be served if you just stop talking long enough to hear them, and most brands really don't have time for that. That's a problem. Be a brand that is curious to learn and curious to prove things about the behavior of your customers, like a scientist does, and then, you want to use those insights because your artist will be able to run completely wild with all of those things. And then you will be in a position where you're able to create that awesome behavioral change that you really, really want to see. And that's it for me in the marketing laboratory this week. So you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on May the Best Brand Win on InterTalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. We'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jason Schiff, lead vocalist and bass player for the band Chicago, reporting here from New York City as we get ready to go and be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey listen, I want to tell you about something really cool. I'm basically, get it? I'm giving my bass away that I am playing on this 2016 Chicago Earth, Wind & Fire tour, and on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies that'll be aired on HBO later this month. So if you want a chance to win it, go to winmybass.com, winmybass.com, winmybass.com. This is going through the rest of this month, April, and we will announce a winner early May, okay? Thank you so much to Jackie's Groove, powered by Intertalk Radio. I am so proud to be a San Diegan and part of this world that keeps growing down there. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. Pitbullaudio.com.